Duke Blue Devils. If they're not physical, their schemes are not going to matter.
Ready for the tip of this Sonic blockbuster and underway with the Blue Devils getting the first possession of the night. Duke 27-3. They've won 7 in a row, and they have just overwhelmed those 7 teams. Pass tipped away. Sion James gets it back to Cooper Flagg. And still 11 on the shot clock.
Duke was trying to post R.J. Davis with Sion James right away, and Davis just knocked the ball away, really fought James.
Knipple with 3 on the shot clock. Gets a tough shot off and hits.
He is one cool customer, Con Knipple. He does not back down.
The starting 5 includes the 3 players honored on senior night: R.J. Davis, Jalen Withers, and Ty Claude. First and only year here at Carolina. His 4th school was with Georgia Tech last year. He'll get the start and be in there for a couple of minutes. What a block by Elliot Cadeau, denying Tyrese Proctor.
R.J. Davis gets trapped, gave the ball up, but Elliot Cadeau with a chase down. What a spectacular block by the diminutive point guard for North Carolina.
Cadeau all of 6'1" with an incredibly impressive defensive play, and Cooper Flagg bounces down a shot. It's a long 2, the officials are saying, and we'll have to wait until they check on that. 2 of the officials were kind of motioning at one another. I believe it has been recorded as a long 2. Cadeau with a Malawach on him, drives left hand up and good, and Carolina's on the board.
Boy, what a gutsy drive by Elliot Cadeau. Had Malawach on him at 7-2 because of the switch and took him on, scoring with that left hand.
Malawach back to Proctor. Missed a game last week with a knee injury. Returned Monday against Wake. Flagg open again. This one won't go, and it's down to Withers.
Well, Jalen Withers has been outstanding his last 6 games, and he really needs to rebound in this game.
Carolina winners of 6 in a row, averaging over or about 91 points per game in those 6. Withers a good cut, but he couldn't handle the bounce pass.
Elliot Cadeau cannot turn the ball over in this game. That's his 102nd turnover on the year.
And he had 5 of them in the first meeting against the Blue Devils. And now John Gaffney, one of the officials, is going over to the scorer's table. Here's where Flagg was when he took the shot, and that is clearly a 3. So I would imagine, I saw John Gaffney talking to the scorer's table. Maybe they'll look at that at the under 16 timeout, but it looks like Duke will have a point added to its total.
And I think you can expect that Duke is going to try to go after R.J. Davis and Elliot Cadeau whenever they can, try to post them and use their size.
Duke with such positional size, 1 through 5. Their guards, James and Proctor, much bigger than Cadeau and Davis for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, bigger and longer. Boy, good screen by Van Allen Lubin.
And Cadeau kind of turned it into more of a floater than a jump shot and left it a little bit short.
And so many of Duke's rebounders can take the ball and just go. They don't even need to outlet it.
Like Flagg, off the glass, no, down to Cadeau.
Carolina needs to get out in transition in this game. Duke wants to make them a half-court team. Another turnover, just trying to make the home run pass.
Duke in transition. James up and good with the left hand, and the lead is up to 5.
There is no way after a turnover you can set your defense. You are just allowing a run out, and there's no way to guard that.
And in the first game, Carolina turned it over 14 times. That in and of itself isn't a terrible number, but 10 of them were live ball turnovers, and the Blue Devils turned those into 19 points.
Well, the game was over at halftime, so whatever happened in the second half really didn't matter.
Cadeau draws a crowd. The kick to Drake Powell, and the freshman knocks down a 3.
Drake Powell has been a different player the last couple games. He's now 10 of his last 13 field goals.
Hubert Davis has tinkered with his starting lineup at times this year. And Van Allen Lubin in there now. Didn't start because it's senior night, but him and Withers, a bigger combo up front. So Powell playing a little bit more on the wing than he was earlier this year. Ball is still loose, still live, and out of bounds to Carolina.
Carolina much more physical to start this game than they were in Durham when Duke blew them out.
Jon Scheyer, third year as the head coach at his alma mater. Won an ACC tournament championship 2 years ago. Took them to the Elite Eight last year. Obviously aspirations to win it all this year. Outright regular season title, ACC tournament title, and national championship. And Duke is certainly good enough to compete for all of those. That's over the top of the backboard and over to Duke. Hubert Davis in the fourth year as head coach at his alma mater. Of course, took them to the national championship game in his first year. It's really been an up and down ride, Jay, for 4 years. You know, preseason #1, don't make the tournament. 8 seed, get all the way to the national championship game. Every year has been a completely different story for this Tar Heel program.
Yeah, last season ACC champions. Good steal by Drake Powell.
And the fans loving the effort on defense by Powell and the Tar Heels.
Well, Powell did a great job of getting down in a stance and timing out that dribble, then going for it with both hands to knock it away. Just really good defense by Powell, who's now playing his natural position. He was having to play some small ball 4, but now that Jalen Withers has emerged, that allows him to move back to the 3, where he can use his size, and he's much more effective and more comfortable.
A couple of subs for the Tar Heels. Seth Trimble and Ian Jackson have both checked into the game. Jackson has been shooting the ball at an incredible rate recently, 17 for 28 from 3 during this North Carolina 6-game winning streak.
There's the switch again. Malowatch on Davis.
Powell the pull-up. And he's fouled by Flagg. 4:11 into this one in an enormously important game for the North Carolina Tar Heels. And if you don't believe me, look at Coach Davis, fired up.
During the timeout, would be scored a 3-point field goal.
So an extra point for the Blue Devils, now leading 8-5. Drake Powell is at the line. You know, yesterday Hubert Davis talked a little bit about R.J. Davis. Hubert was an assistant coach and the lead recruiter bringing Davis in here, and he told us at practice yesterday, I've actually known him like 7 years. And Hubert, who's a very sentimental guy, he got a little bit choked up talking about the relationship that he's had with Davis over the years.
He's trying to get an extra year of eligibility. Yeah. He doesn't want to let him go, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, he was looking for loopholes left, right, and center yesterday. Let's go to Jess for more.
Yeah, Dan, RJ told me, I can remember vividly the summer going into my senior year, and I was playing at a team camp at Archbishop Malloy. Coach Davis was sitting on the wooden bleachers on the right side of the court, had glasses on because he likes to be camouflaged, but he knew from that very first conversation that this was going to be the right place. It was just so genuine, and it just speaks to the type of person Hubert Davis is and the coach that he is.
Jess, thank you. The loud booing is that Drake Powell was just called for a foul. The crowd saw the turnover and maybe thought, if anything, maybe Flagg fouled him after the fact. Another Duke turnover, though, and Carolina has been aggressive at the defensive end.
Well, this is a different Carolina team that we've seen over the last 6 games into this one. Much more aggressive, assertive, and in attack mode. It's a hit-first mentality.
Trimble misses the 3. And the rebound to Sion James, a 4-year starter at Tulane, came off the bench the first month or so, has turned into a starter and a very important part of this team. And he drives and hits and has a chance for 3.
I watched Sion James play at Tulane, and I thought he was really good, but I didn't know he was this good. He's just had an outstanding year, taking over at the point, although Duke has a number of different players that initiate offense, starting with Cooper Flagg, but his strength, his athleticism, his length, and he's such a good defender and really takes great care of the ball.
Jon Scheyer speaks glowingly about the transfers, the veterans that he brought in. Sion James from Tulane, Mason Gillis from Purdue, and Malik Brown from Syracuse, who is back after missing the last 4 games with a shoulder injury. Brown is back and on the floor as we speak.
Brown, a defensive savant, has great hands, leads this team in deflections, and that's with missing several games with that shoulder.
He's on Davis, who buries a 3.
That's the one thing you cannot do with R.J. Davis is give him space. That little step back, he can get that shot off. You've got to make him put it on the deck and get him inside the line and score tough twos rather than open threes.
Carolina doing all the little things better, Hubert Davis says, as Duke turns it over again. 4th turnover for Jon Scheyer's team already.
Well, Duke trying to play with a little pace, turning it over, and Jon Scheyer after that turnover just holds his palms down, saying, calm down, long way to go.
Again, this is a Duke program because it's been a down year for the ACC. They have not been tested very much at all in conference play. They are 18-1, the only loss coming last month at Clemson. And the other 2 losses, neutral court losses way back in the non-conference to Kentucky and Kansas. Knippel gets rid of it quickly and knocks down a 3.
Well, you make any mistake on a switch, and Kon Knippel's going to make you pay. When he's able to shoot it from the catch spot without forcing him to dribble, he is money.
What a year he's had. Jon Scheyer admits more of a facilitator than he intended or expected. A good scorer as well. A projected lottery pick. So much talk about Cooper Flagg, but and rightly so. But Kon Knippel's had a great season.
He has had a great season, but just a defensive mistake on this cut. They called a switch. Seth Trimble called it, and R.J. Davis just couldn't get there in time. And off the switch, Malik Brown on R.J. Davis had his hands down, and Davis is too good of a shooter. And he's 9 of 15 from 3 in his last 3 games coming into this one. You give him an open look, he's going to drill it.
Yeah, hasn't shot the ball as well overall this year as last year or the year before, but as Jay said, really heating up when it matters the most. As Trimble now at the line for the Tar Heels.
Well, your point on R.J. Davis, this year he's faced so many bigger defenders. He's only 6 feet tall. And last year, Carolina was throwing the ball inside to Armando Bacot. They could play more inside out, which they're getting back to. They're doing a better job of that right now. But it's a lot more difficult this season for R.J. Davis to find those open shots.
The free throws for Trimble, and it's a 2-point game.
Boy, look at the pressure on the ball. Carolina has really ratcheted up the pressure early on in this game.
Knippel again. And gets the bounce. It'll be a 3 for Knippel, and the Blue Devils are back up by 5.
Boy, 1 step late by Ian Jackson, and just gives up that open 3. Again, shooting it from the catch spot. You have to force him to dribble it.
Knippel already with 8. Boy, Davis wanted the step back 3, regathers. Powell takes a bump. Trimble can't get it off from the corner, and it's 6 on the shot clock. Turnaround. And nobody on the glass for the Heels.
Boy, good help by Malik Brown there to stop that initial drive.
A foul on Cooper Flagg, and that'll be number 2 on him.
That's because of the ball pressure. North Carolina is getting into the ball. They are impacting the ball, and Drake Powell right on Cooper Flagg. He wanted him off him, so he just used that off arm for the discard right in front of the official. Easy call.
So with 12:53 to go in the first half, Cooper Flagg goes to the bench with his 2nd foul. And you can see a pretty easy call there for John Gaffney.
Carolina running action in the middle of the floor to try to eliminate some of the weak side help.
Jackson on the drive, and the freshman lays it in.
What a beautiful play. Just driving past Malawach and getting past Isaiah Evans and using the basket to shield the shot block.
And the way he's shooting it now, too. What a dangerous scorer he is in so many different ways as Proctor quiets the crowd by knocking down a 3.
Duke has so many weapons, so many different guys that can knock down a 3, and about as efficient an offense as you're going to see.
Davis with a foot on the line and misses the long jumper. The rebound to Evans. Knippel just keeps going and lays it in, and he's got 10.
Just a beautiful hesitation move, and that's another example of whomever gets the rebound. You know, that was a quick outlet, but there's so many different guys that can bring the ball up and initiate. That makes it really difficult to stop Duke in transition.
Knippel had a great first game against Carolina back at Cameron. 22 points and 5 assists. Jackson will put it up and hit. It's a 3 for Jackson.
Over his last 6, Ian Jackson is shooting 61% from 3, 17 of 28 before he knocked that down. That's big time.
Proctor, no. Tip, yes for Malawacz.
Malawacz, that high ball screen was rejected. That allowed Malawacz to just get to the offensive glass easily.
And Trimble pushing it down the court, draws the foul, and will be at the free throw line when we come back. Up and down they go here, Jay, with Duke now leading by 7.
Well, Con Knipples knocked down a couple of threes, and then Tyrese Proctor, just his second game back from that injury, rejects the ball screen, knocks it down. He is a solid player.
In quad 1. That's not the only thing that the committee looks at, but it sure jumps off the screen when you look at it, and a win here tonight would be very, very big for Hubert Davis and his program.
Yeah, it would go a long way. But right now, Duke is shooting 69% of the field. They have from the field. They have 9 turnovers, but they've got 8 points in the paint, 5 second chance points to North Carolina's 0. And they've scored 6 points off Carolina's turnovers. Carolina has not capitalized off of Duke's turnovers.
They've made 4 of their 5 3-pointers so far tonight. James, he is so strong. How are you going to keep him out of the lane?
Well, Duke is trying to operate in the middle of the floor. They haven't run much side pick and roll action because North Carolina likes to ice it. They want to keep it to a side. So you probably won't see a lot of side pick and roll from Duke throughout the game.
Cadeau back into the game at the point, coming off a 12-assist effort at Virginia Tech during the week. Withers, who's also been shooting it very well lately for the Heels, misses the 3. Boy, that knee looks fine for Proctor. When he went out of the game just last week against Florida State, it looked like it might be serious, but he came back quickly and looks totally like himself.
His first game back against Wake Forest, he had 12 and looked pretty good. Just had to knock the rust off.
Pulls up for the jumper and hits. It has been scored a 2 on the floor right now. Must have had a toe on the line, but it's the biggest lead of the night right now for the Blue Devils.
Well, Carolina's going to have to keep up the pressure on Duke. They really didn't get into the ball on that last possession.
Jalen Washington takes a bump and finishes.
Jalen Washington is more of a short roll big, just a step up screen, and then caught that and went right over Malawacz to get that right-handed finish. That was very nice by Jalen Washington.
James using the screen, kicks it to Proctor.
Good recovery by Ian Jackson, but he can't give up middle.
And Proctor lays it in.
When you close out, you have got to keep the ball handler out of the middle. Take away the shot, but you have to be mindful of giving up middle drives.
Proctor, the junior from Sydney, Australia, averaging almost 12 a game.
This high ball screen gets Malawacz away from the basket.
Trimble with a drive, hangs. He wanted the foul call, no whistle, and back come the Blue Devils.
This little split action off getting it to Malawacz up top.
Proctor, what a move. Can't finish it. He wanted a foul call, and it looks like he will get it. It's going on Ian Jackson. And that'll be number 2 on Jackson.
Just a late contest on a very difficult shot when you just caught him on the elbow. But you just want to put pressure on that shot. That's a really tough 2. And here's what looked like a 3 from Tyrese Proctor.
And again, they can look at that at the under 8 timeout. We imagine that they will. So 2 on Jackson. He's going to come out. As R.J. Davis will come back in for Carolina.
And those are the kind of fouls, Dan, you just can't pick up. I mean, Jackson and the Carolina defense did a good job of forcing a really tough 2, a fadeaway jumper. You can't bail out that jump shooter. Make him make the tough 2.
And Proctor drains them both.
This Duke basketball team is such an efficient offensive team.
Yeah, per CBB analytics, they are second in the nation in offensive efficiency and second in the nation in defensive efficiency, the only program to be in the top 5 in each category. Withers into the paint. Tough shot. And the rebound for Isaiah Evans.
And there have been few offensive rebounds for North Carolina to start this game. Duke's got all 5 guys getting the defensive glass.
When Evans comes in, he is in there to knock down threes. That is his specialty, and yet another foul on a jump shooter.
Well, Isaiah Evans, his last 5 games, he's 19 of 39 from three-point range. That's just under 50%. And Elliot Cadeau tries to fly by, but just clips him on the hip to pick up that foul.
Number 2 on Cadeau. So Flagg's got 2 for Duke. Jackson and Cadeau each with 2 for Carolina.
But what a weapon Isaiah Evans is as a freshman to be able to bring into the game. I mean, you remember those 6 threes he hit in the first half against Auburn. But he's had a number of games, especially of late, where he's hit multiple threes, shooting 46% from 3 over his last 6.
Had 5 against Miami recently, 5 against Virginia, and averaging better than 15 points per game in his last 5.
And his range, you don't want to say unlimited, but it's pretty close.
And Duke continues to extend the lead. 7-0 run and a 14-point lead.
North Carolina's got to look to get the ball inside, not necessarily for a post up, but they got to get back to getting into the paint and putting some more pressure on this Duke defense. But they're switching, and it is tough to drive some of these switches.
Withers got a pretty good look. Can't get it to go, and again it's down to Duke.
Withers can hit that. He's a good shooter, but I think North Carolina's settling for some shots when they can put more pressure on the defense by driving it more often.
And this one's going the other way. It's on Malik Brown. His first, a timeout on the...
Done a fabulous job, and he has integrated transfers into the culture. They've been spectacular, but what he's done in his 3 years has been nothing short of remarkable. And thus far in the game, Dan, Duke's game plan is going exactly as they would have hoped. They've taken North Carolina out of transition, and they've made the Tar Heels into a half-court team. And they're dominating the glass. Duke has 10 rebounds in this game. They've got 2 offensive rebounds. They haven't missed many shots. I mean, heck, they're 12 of 16, so it's tough to get shots.
And they've added 10, now make it 8 points to their lead since Cooper Flagg went to the bench with 2 fouls with 12:53 to go. That was Withers with the lay-in for the Heels.
And that's what North Carolina needs to do more of. They've got to attack the paint.
Patrick Gungba into the game with Malik Brown sitting with his second.
And North Carolina's only got 2 rebounds in this game.
To Nipple, no. Tipped into the hands of Davis. The pull-up 3 goes.
Boy, and when you tip the ball back out, you may think you're tipping it to a teammate, but you can also start Carolina's transition. That's really the first transition basket North Carolina's had in this game.
And it's gone from 15 to 10 since the last time out. Good ball pressure by Trimble. Knipple into traffic. The kick to Gillis. Got it.
That is a great pass and a terrific job by Mason Gillis of positioning himself in the corner where Knipple could see him. Got in the passer's vision.
Boy, Knipple helps you win in a lot of different ways at both ends of the floor. John Shire, when we asked him about him before the game, the first thing he talked about was getting all the 50-50 balls. He wins every battle.
I can't recall a pair of freshmen like Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple being this savvy of knowing how to play at that age. And North Carolina, you'd have to go back to Tyler Hansbrough, maybe Antoine Jamison, but they've just got an elevated awareness of how to play the game. Drawing 3 defenders, kicking it out to the opposite corner. Mason Gillis, the transfer from Purdue, who shot well over 40% from 3 last year playing off Zach Edey, knocks down the open corner 3.
And really, we saw it from day one. Knipple was their leading scorer in the first 2 games of the season. Flagg was very good early, had some turnover issues a little bit in the Kentucky and the Kansas games, but has turned into maybe the player of the year. I mean, from day one, both of these freshmen have shown that they were everything they were hyped up to be, and maybe even a little bit more than that.
Yeah, and Con Knipple, I think, has shown to be far more than his reputation suggested. He was a top 30 player coming out of high school, but he's far better than he was projected.
We will see if Jon Scheyer will leave Flagg on the bench for the rest of the half. Went out with foul number 2 with 12:53 to go. But Duke still got a double-digit lead.
A good pass ahead.
Good hands by Davis. Still Duke ball.
Boy, Davis has got speed, but the recovery to get around in front and then knock the ball away with the right hand. That was excellent defense by R.J. Davis.
Gangba looking for somebody to give the ball to. It'll be Knipple.
For the ball movement, Duke going side to side. The ball movement's excellent.
Good hands by Powell. Proctor still got it. Couldn't hit it, and it's Carolina ball. Davis end to end. And the rebound down to Proctor. Now Duke looking to run. Knipple. And it is still Duke ball as Cooper Flagg is now re-entering the game. Missed about 7.5 minutes. And Duke went from up 5 to up 11 while he was on the bench.
You know, some coaches like to keep a starter on the bench with 2 fouls until the second half, but I think Jon Scheyer believes why play the best possible defense on your best player by having him on the bench. Take the risk.
Still belongs to the Blue Devils.
Like Drake Powell is a good defender. You know, he's got size, length, athleticism, and playing the 3 puts him with better matchups. He was at a matchup disadvantage when he had to play small ball 4.
Withers and Van Allen Lubin, the 2 big guys, front court players who start and are in the game right now for Carolina. Flagg the pull-up, no, and Withers comes down for the rebound.
A nice job by Drake Powell of switching out to challenge that shot.
Withers goes by Malawach, scoops it up and in, and it's down to single digits.
The ball is moving better for North Carolina in the last several possessions, and they're getting drives and getting to the rim.
James out of bounds, still Duke ball.
Boy, terrific back cut by Sion James, but here's Withers. When he catches it just with that left-hand drive, getting back to the right hand, just going right by Kaman Malawach, and then Cooper Flagg didn't want to pick up that 3rd foul.
Flagg trying to drive on Withers. The pull-up will go.
How much game does he have? And he doesn't turn the ball over. His last 6 games, 30 assists, 3 turnovers. I'm not good at math, but that's 10-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. That's amazing.
What a player of the year race, a Wooden Award race it has been. By the way, Johni Broome scored 34 today for Auburn, although it was Alabama winning at Auburn in overtime on a runner by Mark Sears as time expired. But Broome, Flagg, who you got? It's like it changes every day.
Well, I thought Van Allen Lubin was right there to tip that ball in. Thought he got fouled.
Tipped out. Here comes Trimble. Going at Flagg. And the follow by Lubin.
Smart play by Trimble to go right at Flagg. Force him to foul you or back off.
Boy, Van Allen Lubin's been playing well for the Tar Heels. Last 5, better than 13 points per game, almost 7 rebounds per game, and it's Carolina ball again.
Now Carolina's getting out in transition. That's where they're dangerous.
Powell for 3. And Flagg down with the rebound for the Blue Devils. A pretty good look for Drake Powell, who's shooting 40% on the season from 3-point range.
Boy, this is an important last 3.5 minutes for North Carolina. Can they cut into this lead, or can Duke extend it?
Flagg the drive. And an offensive foul. It is number 3 on Cooper Flagg.
Withers was standing there for a long time, surprised that Cooper Flagg didn't pull up. That is a huge play by Jalen Withers. Cooper Flagg, Jalen Withers was right there and set. Really surprised that Cooper Flagg took that chance with 2 fouls.
It would be just their second quad one win of the season, a win they desperately need to boost their resume. They appear to be squarely on the bubble, maybe on the wrong side of it, heading into this game tonight. Into Lubin, got his man in the air, hits, and is fouled.
North Carolina going with that middle ball screen, and once they got the switch, Van-El and Lubin did a great job of stopping to post Tyrese Proctor on the high side. And that, watch how he posts right here. That gave him a little extra room, and then Sion James couldn't get to him. If he went all the way to the rim, that would have been closed off. Really smart play on that roll by Van-El and Lubin.
He's kind of been an underrated or under-publicized part of this recent winning streak for the Tar Heels. We told you the numbers his last 5 games. He's just a blue-collar, lunch pail kind of guy. He works hard. He's often undersized compared to the guys he's covering, but he's been really productive lately for Carolina.
Well, he's going to the glass, and he's done a good job on the offensive glass. He had a double-double against Virginia Tech, 19 against Miami. He's been a threat out there.
Knipple, another great look. He finds Gillis, who can't hit it. And it's down to Lubin, and Carolina can get even closer.
After not grabbing any rebounds early, Carolina's now getting on the glass. And now they can put Duke on their heels a little bit defensively.
Jackson back into the game, into the corner to Withers. And a good decision to reset.
Carolina stopped turning the ball over.
Davis, another three for R.J. Davis.
What a player. That was as difficult a shot as you're going to see in this game.
11 now for Davis. At one point, Duke led by 15. It's down to 3. And a steal by Withers. The Heels are running again. Davis again. It's a 10-0 run for Carolina. It's a 1-point game here at the Dean Dome.
Well, there's a reason why R.J. Davis is the 3rd leading scorer in ACC history. As tough a shot as you're going to get. And a terrific job by Van-El and Lubin of disrupting that lob with Kaman Malawach, and then R.J. Davis, a little hesitation, and that's how you take the ball to the basket. He went right into the chest of Kon Knueppel, knocked him back, and completed the play. Right now, North Carolina fired up because they have closed the gap, and they have done it, Dan, defensively. They've gotten into the ball, they've impacted the ball, and all 5 Tar Heels are getting on the defensive glass. That's allowing them to run.
If they win, they'll be the 4 seed going into the ACC tournament. If they lose, they'll be the 5. Either way, they would have a couple of chances there to pick up good wins. But again, as we've mentioned on a few occasions, this game is enormously important to the Tar Heels' postseason chances.
And the question is, where does Duke go for offense right now with Cooper Flagg on the bench with 3 fouls?
And Trimble, a foul out near half court, his first.
And that's a foul you live with, because Hubert Davis wants his defenders to get into the ball. Pressure on the ball and physicality throughout the course of a possession.
Flagg sitting with 3 fouls. He's played 9 minutes in this game. 5 points and a couple of rebounds. James driving, draws the foul, and is heading to the line.
Looked like it was on R.J. Davis. But there were a number of Tar Heels swarming to the ball. Just a strong drive by Sion James, and R.J. Davis just goes right across his arms as he's in his upward motion.
Championship Sunday tomorrow, when the women's game day crew will be at the Well in Greenville, South Carolina at noon Eastern to get you set for all the title games coming up, highlighted by 3 of them on ESPN. The ACC Championship begins at 1 Eastern. It'll be NC State and Duke, then the SEC, and then the Phillips 66 Big 12 title as well. What an afternoon of championship women's hoops action.
Carolina's had some success with this high ball screen, getting the switch with Malawach. Now they're going to double.
Withers is open. Lubin tried to keep it alive, but Malawach brings it down for Duke.
Oh, Malawach is 7-2. He went up with 2 hands to secure that rebound.
The ball screen by Malawach to free up Proctor. The long rebound to Trimble.
Oh, that was a wide open shot with Carolina in drop coverage.
And a reset now with Davis. Got Gillis on him. Lots of time on the shot clock. Davis the drive, the pull-up, hits again.
I think he liked that matchup going against Mason Gillis. Just backed him up, got to the middle of the lane, pulled up a little bit of a fadeaway, and R.J. Davis is on fire in this first half.
Five seconds between the game clock and the shot clock.
But great job by Drake Powell to deny Con Knippel.
James, no. Malawach, no. Carolina can get a last look. Davis. It will not go as an up and down first half comes to a close.
Put him in some screening action, get a switch, and then go after him.
Nearly a turnover on the first possession. Proctor. Boy, used that left arm to shield off Powell and knock down the shot.
And Powell still with a good rear view challenge. But Proctor really kept his eyes on the basket and concentrated through the defense.
Limited minutes in the first half for Elliot Cadeau because of a couple of fouls.
Elliot Cadeau had a couple turnovers early. Carolina only had 3 turnovers in the first half, all of them in the first 3 minutes.
Davis. Wow. Again. What a night he is having. In the last game he will play in this building.
And Proctor was right on him. That little step back and knocked down a huge 3.
It is all tied up at 45.
Now Carolina with the switch. Van Allen Lubin now on Proctor.
And R.J. Davis on flag. It's stolen away. Withers wide open. And Carolina has its first lead of the night.
Boy, Withers ran the baseline. Malawach lost him. Proctor couldn't get to him.
Flag will get the roll to bring Duke back within 1.
Cooper Flagg is so skilled and athletic. Move to that left hand. He's just a big-time player.
And as Duke fans well know, he's been an extraordinary second-half player in games this year. A tough turnaround for Drake Powell.
Boy, great individual move. Just planting that pivot foot and then pivoting for the fadeaway jumper. Carolina top blocking with Sion James in the corner, forcing him to the other side.
Tipped away by Cadeau. Davis, another one. A 2-pointer for Davis, and it's a 5-point lead.
This is vintage R.J. Davis. Vintage.
Five great years for R.J. Davis as a Tar Heel, and looking to go out on top in this one, Jay.
And he is seeing a big basket, knocking down tough shot after tough shot. 15 points in the first half. He has been a one-man wrecking crew for North Carolina. 20 points in the ball game for. North Carolina has done a great job in this game of forcing turnovers. 11 Duke turnovers in this game, only 3 North Carolina turnovers.
And the Heels have not missed a shot in the second half. Flagg going to work on Withers.
Right hand drive, then getting back to that left hand. Just the skill and the strength. And Jalen Withers is a good defender.
And size-wise can match up with Flagg, but as Hubert Davis said yesterday, he goes, hey, Flagg's a generational player, and a lot of coaches around America have learned that this year. Lubin in and out, and Malawacz rips it down.
And that's the first shot by either team missed in the second half.
Knipple to Malawacz. Got it back, kicks it out. And Flagg is fouled by Withers.
Cooper Flagg has done a much better job in the second half of the season of straight line driving. He's much more assertive and decisive, where earlier in the season you might have seen him take multiple dribbles, then spin, maybe get in a little bit of trouble. That was just a straight line drive, and then his ability to move that ball to the left hand and finish off the glass, that's just next level.
Into Flagg in the corner. Tough one, won't go, and it's down to Withers.
Excellent defense by Jalen Withers to stay in front, force the fadeaway.
Duke's won 7 in a row. Carolina 6 in a row.
Oh.
How about the English from Cadeau?
Past Malawacz. What a finish by Elliot Cadeau with the left hand.
Flagg with Powell on him right now. Sets the screen to try to free up Proctor.
That puts Cadeau on Flagg.
Knipple rises up for a 3. Rebound Powell. The Heels running. And Powell is fouled on the play by Sion James. And the momentum continues for Carolina here early in this second half.
Anytime Elliot Cadeau drives, you want to make him finish rather than spray it out to open three-point shooters. But turns down the ball screen. Malawacz forces him to finish, and Elliot Cadeau accepts the challenge with the left, majoring in English.
Lost to Alabama, lost to Florida. They scheduled hard. They just didn't win any of the big games. Their best win, their only quad 1 win, is a neutral court win in December against UCLA. Obviously, a win here tonight would be extremely meaningful.
Well, if this team had been playing all those games, they would have won a number of them. North Carolina's a different team right now than they were a month ago. And turnovers have been the difference in this game. 11 turnovers, there's a short roll.
Lubin, the challenge by Flagg, but Lubin scores anyway.
Well, he's operated so effectively in the last month out of that short roll, going right into the chest of Cooper Flagg on the vertical contest.
Proctor at the other end.
And Proctor is such a good cutter. He's more than just a catch and shoot guy. That was his reputation coming into the year. But he's had a fantastic season.
Brown switches on to Davis.
That puts some real size on R.J. Davis.
Ian Jackson looking to get going. Too strong on the 3. Flagg down with a rebound. Proctor swings it, deflected away by Trimble. And Hubert Davis looking around from one official to the other saying, where's the whistle?
Yeah, the official said it was incidental contact, that both of them were going after the ball. Not sure I would agree with that. I think that Trimble had the open path to it, and Knipple got in his way.
Hubert Davis pleading his case with one of the officials. The no call gives it back to Duke.
But that's the sort of defensive intensity that North Carolina has had and needs to maintain.
Knipple, nice look. James the finish.
Boy, off that screening action, R.J. Davis just got picked off a little bit and lost his balance, and Knipple able to turn the corner.
Again the switch. Brown on to Davis.
They need to look inside to Van Allen Lubin. He needs to post hard against Tyrese Proctor.
Jackson fouled on the drive.
Con Knueppel coming off some screening action on the left side of the floor. And R.J. Davis just gets knocked a little bit by Malik Brown. That allowed him to turn the corner, got the help up, and Sion James with a nice baseline cut to get the easy dunk.
Number 3 on Malik Brown. He will stay. No sign of any subs coming in for Duke. As Ian Jackson, the tremendously talented freshman from the Bronx, averaging 13.5 per game. A couple of subs for the Heels as Lubin and Davis go out.
Or the way Ian Jackson has scored over the last 6 games, it's been impressive. Almost 60% from the field overall, over 60% from 3. The 7 games prior, he shot around 20%.
Carolina as a team in this 6-game winning streak has been one of the best offensive teams in the nation. Proctor got it taken away by Cadeau.
Carolina so much more physical in this game than they were earlier in the season, really impacting the ball.
Smaller lineup right now. Washington at the 5 and in effect Powell at the 4. Trimble. Whoa, flag got all of that, and James runs it down for Duke.
Trimble really wanted to take on that matchup, but Flag, his timing and length, impressive.
Brown does not look to shoot very often. Swings it to Knueppel. Offensive foul.
Elliot Cadeau has been a pest. Just stayed on the high side of Knueppel on that drive, forcing him baseline. And Knueppel put a little bit too much into it with that right arm. But just staying right on him. And then Knueppel with a little push, and Cadeau goes flying. Offensive foul.
Jay, that's the 13th turnover charged to Duke. Carolina's only got 3, and as you know, they had those 3 in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. Almost turned it over right there. Nowhere to go for Cadeau. Back out to Jackson. The crossover on Proctor. The step back. And the rebound to Knueppel.
Carolina trying to make individual offensive plays the last couple of times down. They need to move the ball in order to move the defense and then attack it.
Flag. Not there, and Washington down with a one-handed rebound.
Flag settled there against Cadeau.
Jackson will drive and finish.
Well, you settle for a jump shot, and Carolina takes it the other way for a terrific Euro step layup by Ian Jackson.
Powell guarding Flag on this trip. Off to James. Muscles it up and in.
Boy, terrific pass off that little screen roll with Sion James rolling to the basket hard.
He's up to 14 right now for the Blue Devils. Knueppel switches on to Cadeau. Behind the back, the force, and it's off the side of the backboard.
That is not what Carolina wants.
It gets Duke out in transition, and Flag flushes it. Flag into double figures.
Run a little double drag, and then the part of that's a ghost. But Carolina's got to start moving the ball. Duke's defense has been set with these switches.
No R.J. Davis, been on the bench about the last 2.5 minutes. Powell a step back 3.
There's too many tough shots.
Flag behind the back. And a block is the call on Seth Trimble. And it'll be Cooper Flag at the line when we return. He's been playing this entire second half with 3 fouls, Jay, but he's heating up.
Yeah, the great pass, and when you try to block that shot, that opened up the offensive glass for Cooper Flag with the 2-hand slam.
After tonight, this will be his last game with Duke. He is flying to Miami. He'll have his opening press conference Monday. He and Jon Scheyer talked, as John told us before the game, and Scheyer said to Lucas, hey, it's not fair to keep you here. I'd love to keep you here, but you're taking that job and you got to go. In this era of NIL and transferring, there's an immediacy about being with your new team, and Miami's season ended today. They're not even going to the ACC tournament, so this will be the last time that Jay Lucas is on the Duke bench.
Yeah, people think it's about the March 24th opening of the transfer portal, but it's really about when seasons end. And Miami's season has ended. Duke's season's going to continue to go on. And it's important for Jay Lucas to learn what he has and what he can keep at Miami right now. What a pass.
But off the fingertips of Lubin, out of bounds, and that's the first turnover in forever committed by Carolina. Early in the first half, they had 3. That's the first one since. And Duke now back looking for the lead. And Caleb Foster, Jay, into the game for the first time tonight for Duke.
Good back cut.
Brown, a beautiful feed to Knipple, and Duke leads.
Boy, not enough pressure on the ball to take away vision from Malik Brown. Just a terrific back cut by Con Knipple.
R.J. Davis back into the game for Carolina. Brown on him, out on the perimeter. Davis has been scorching hot recently. And turns it over again, so back-to-back possessions where the Heels turn it over. Foster got it.
Boy, smart play to attack the basket there. It's so difficult when Malik Brown has switched out on R.J. Davis. You've got the size, the length, the defensive ability, and Malik Brown can stay in front and make it really difficult to angle out. R.J. Davis got the switch again. When it was Malawach, Davis was able to take that on and score.
Withers defended by Knipple. Withers goes right at him. Tipped away by Foster. And it's Duke ball.
Now Duke with an advantage. Withers behind the play.
James. Brown the trailer. And it's a 12-0 run for Duke. And now it's Hubert Davis who needs a timeout.
Boy, give credit to the defense of Malik Brown on R.J. Davis when he switched off. Floor with just a step-and-go back cut and a terrific pass right past the ear of Seth Trimble. And then when Malik Brown has switched out on R.J. Davis, just able to angle him away from the basket down the lane line. That got Duke out in transition, and Caleb Foster just inserted into the game, goes right at the basket. And then Malik Brown right down the lane after the Sion James pass. Duke with a big run to retake the lead.
A game of runs, and it's the Blue Devils on a 12-0 run right now. Brown back after missing the last 4 games with a shoulder injury, as you mentioned. Foster just into the game. It's been a tough year for Caleb Foster. He was the starter at the beginning of the season. Did not play at all Monday night against Wake. But John Shire inserting him for the first time just a couple of minutes ago, and he's already made a couple of very good plays.
North Carolina's got to move the ball from side to side, get a little more action, because they have not made the Duke defense move much. They just really tried to attack a set defense. A little screen for the screener action after the slice cut. Yeah, too much dribbling, not enough passing.
Jackson to Lubin, and the tough finish to snap that 12-0 run.
Duke wasn't able to get pressure on Ian Jackson. Then the steal now from R.J. Davis. Boy, and Carolina needed to get a couple stops.
Davis one-on-one with Knipple. Step back. Not this time. Lubin, though, has the rebound. Can't finish it, and Foster's got it for Duke. Brown, a good passer. He's got 3 assists in this game. He's going to take a 3 and hit it.
Wow, after the back cut by Knipple, that drew 2 defenders, left Malik Brown wide open, and he is not known as a scorer. Doesn't hit many threes.
Just his 3rd made three-pointer this season, now in 10 attempts. He gambled. That left Davis open, and Duke catches a break that Davis misses a clean look.
Boy, terrific back cut here by Con Knipple. Comes up. And then watch, he gets a little screen and then goes back door, draws 2 defenders, and Venell Lubin just late getting to Malik Brown. He didn't think he was going to shoot it, but he did.
Good minutes for Brown in his return.
Boy, especially defensively. What a difference maker.
He goes to the bench. Malawacz back in. Davis guarded by Foster.
And he's had success taking on Malawacz at times. Good pass fake.
Withers has it blocked by Flagg. Boy, Flagg went a long way into the corner to get that one. As we now have exactly 8 minutes left in regulation. Duke has gone back out in front. A 7-point lead here in Chapel Hill. This got Carolina back into this game. He was the hottest guy in the building. Has cooled off a little bit recently. What do they need to get it going offensively again?
They need to start moving the ball more. Carolina's been making a lot of individual plays. North Carolina's got 22 field goals in this game, only 5 assists. And that assist total has to go up with a little better ball movement and player movement.
Shot clock's at 3. Davis gets it off. Tipped by Malawacz and gathered in by Malawacz. And Duke has the ball on a 15-2 run.
That was a short clock, but yet another difficult shot for North Carolina and for R.J. Davis.
Again, Duke statistically one of the best defensive teams in the nation this year. Flagg, no. Flagg again. Carolina ball.
Sion James with his size and strength guarding R.J. Davis. Now he's got Malawacz on him. He can take this one on.
He's sending Withers to the corner. Kicks it to Cadeau. And Cadeau hits a 3.
Well, Con Knippel was shading toward R.J. Davis. Wasn't as worried about Elliot Cadeau. And Cadeau was very confident off that catch and shoot. That was a huge bucket for North Carolina.
30% three-point shooter on the season. Does not often look for that shot. Flagg swings it to Knippel. Cadeau went flying and is slow to get up as Knippel knocks down the shot.
It was a little fade screen for Kaman Malawacz on that skip pass to Knippel from Cooper Flagg.
Cadeau swings it. Withers is open. Back to Cadeau. Withers baseline. The scoop no good, and it's Duke ball.
Well, you're better off just passing that. It was a good shot fake and drive to get Cooper Flagg off balance, but just a reckless finish at the basket.
Carolina trying to stay within range, down by 7.
Duke really trying to spread out this Carolina defense and drive it.
What a drive by Knippel to make it a 9-point game. He's got 17.
Boy, Duke has had an answer for everything in this second half.
Knippel now with 39 points in the 2 games against the Tar Heels. Feels like a huge possession here for Carolina. The crossover by Davis. Cadeau, what a pass.
What a block.
Flagg got it. Lubin couldn't finish it. Cooper Flagg with his 3rd block of the night.
A bucket-saving block from Cooper Flagg.
At times going to be as big a factor in a game defensively as he is offensively.
Oh, he is definitely a two-way player.
Foster. It bounces out to a wide open Flagg. And the rebound down to Cadeau. Davis in heavy traffic. Cadeau soft off the glass, but it won't go. James. What a finish.
The change of direction in the open court by Sion James, getting past R.J. Davis and going to the other side of the basket to avoid the Powell block.
And Duke is back out to a double-digit lead after Carolina had roared back late in the first and into the second to lead by as many as 7.
This is a versatile defensive team that Duke has. They can switch, guard multiple positions, but Van Allen Lubin looked like an easy bucket, but saved with the left-hand block by Cooper Flagg, and he let everybody know about it. And then Sion James in transition does such a good job at changing direction twice, then gets around R.J. Davis and takes it to the other side of the basket to avoid Drake Powell's block shot. I don't really know what's going on.
Cadeau Blocked by Foster. And then Brown tried to save it, but threw it out of bounds. But again, a good contribution by Caleb Foster. Did not play at all Monday against Wake. Didn't enter this game until about 4 or 5 minutes ago, but has made some very good plays.
Yeah, that was a terrific play by Foster, but give credit again to Malik Brown. His presence defensively has been stifling for North Carolina's offense in this second half.
Davis trying to get free.
Looked like he was going to get a back screen. Instead, came off a little down screen from Van Allen Lubin.
And the foul committed by Tyrese Proctor, his second.
Duke's defense, their help side has been really well positioned. You know, they communicate very well, but their position is basically their help. They don't have to help and recover. They're in help side position already. So it's just a one-way recovery when a pass is made.
Ten on the shot clock. Flag on Cadeau. Now Davis. The switch. The drive. The kick. And the three for Seth Trimble.
Carolina had to have that one. What a shot by Seth Trimble on the catch and shoot from the corner over Knipple.
So Cadeau and Trimble each have hit big threes in recent possessions for the Tar Heels, but they are still down by 8. Flag. Bumped. Now Foster with 7 to shoot. Brown will try another one and hit again. 2 threes here in the second half for Malik Brown.
Well, you think Duke missed Malik Brown while he was out with that shoulder injury? His presence has been felt on both ends of the floor.
He has doubled his 3-point total in this game. Had 2 on the season coming in.
Duke was talking to Malik Brown earlier in the season. When you're open, shoot it. And he has started to listen, and it's working out pretty well for Malik Brown, the transfer from Syracuse, known as a defensive specialist. Now he's a 3-point threat, knocking down his second 3 of the ball game without hesitation.
One seed. Louisville would be the 2, Clemson the 3, and Wake Forest would be the 4 seed, meaning they would also get the double bye. A Duke win over Carolina here tonight. Carolina would be the 5 seed.
R.J. Davis has not scored in this game since the first couple minutes of the second half. Duke's switching and their size have been really difficult.
And the size a factor there, and then a run out and a chance for 3 for Tyrese Proctor.
Boy, after the block shot, Cooper Flagg taking it right down the middle of the floor in transition. Proctor running the right side. Just an easy basket. Seth Trimble with Cooper Flagg behind him, just taking it right out of his hands. That started Duke's fast break. And Duke shooting 65% in this second half. North Carolina just 37%.
And a very balanced effort at the offensive end for the Blue Devils. Proctor at the line. Misses the free throw. He's got 16, as does Sion James. Con Knipple 17, Cooper Flagg 13.
Brown switching off on Davis yet again. His size is such a difficult challenge for R.J. Davis at just 6 feet tall.
Lubin fouled on the floor by Sion James. That'll be the 15th foul committed by the Blue Devils this half, number 3 on James.
Boy, just 2:38 remaining in regulation and nowhere near the 1-and-1.
You know, the number one thing John Shire wanted tonight was a win, obviously, but do you think it's good that Duke really got pushed? They have been blowing everybody out in the ACC the last few weeks. Is it good for them to get a push like this heading into the postseason?
Yeah, that's really the only question mark about Duke, is when they get into a close game, how will they react? Because they haven't been in many close games in ACC play. They've been, with the exception of their game against Clemson, they've been blowing everybody away.
They're on a 7-game winning streak, and those 7 wins came by an average of 32 points per game. And one of those was out of conference. They played Illinois in New York and beat them by 43.
Boy, Duke has really shut down the lane in the second half for North Carolina.
Davis follows his miss but can't lay it in. And it's Duke ball with 1:45 to go.
And for the most part, it has been one shot and out this entire game for North Carolina. 6 offensive rebounds, and 4 of them have been team rebounds, which meant the ball just went out of bounds and they kept it.
And Flagg just drove it about 40 feet and slammed it home with 2 hands.
Nobody with vision from the weak side. Van Allen Lubin so concentrated on his man. And that was an exclamation point on this Duke win in the Smith Center.
And after a great charge at the end of the first and early in the second, it is not going to be the win that the Tar Heels so desperately needed. So let me ask you, what do you think they need to accomplish in Charlotte to make the NCAA tournament?
I think they need to get to the final of the ACC tournament.
Well, and again, the way the seeds line up, they would run into Duke if they both make it that far in the semis.
The problem is there aren't any or many quad wins available in the ACC tournament.
Into Lubin, and he'll slam it. And a timeout taken by Hubert Davis, but it's all academic now. A 13-point lead for the Blue Devils with just 40 seconds to go.
Cooper Flagg on the left side of the floor. And he just gets past Drake Powell with the left-hand drive, and nobody had vision. Van Allen Lubin was just so concentrated on Malik Brown that he wasn't able to get there. That's just too far to be able to go off the bounce without anybody coming over from the weak side.
And mom and dad, who have been at so many games in which Flagg has played this year, are part of a small but happy group of Blue Devils fans gathered behind the Duke bench. For the Tar Heels, it'll be their 12th loss. They will drop to 1-11 in quad 1 games. And senior night will not end the way that R.J. Davis had hoped it would.
Well, it's been a valiant effort. It was vintage R.J. Davis in that first half. But after scoring 5 points early in the second half, he's not been able to find any openings. You have to give Duke's defense credit, especially when Malik Brown switched out on him. You know, Sion James had him for a time, but Duke really shut off the lane and didn't allow any interior scoring in the second half. In the first half, Carolina was getting into the paint, especially the last 4 minutes of the first half.
And a foul, and now some subs coming, and we'll see if R.J. Davis is one of those to come out. It looks like he will be as he walks off the court here at the Dean Smith Center for the final time.
What a career. What a player.
Has represented this program and this institution very well for 5 years. The Blue Devils will go to 19-1. It will be an outright ACC regular season title, a game ahead of Louisville and Clemson. And they will all gather in Charlotte with really only 3 locks out of this conference to make the tournament right now. We'll see what happens over the next week. The rebound down to Trimble, just 10 seconds to go. Turned over to James, and that is going to do it. Duke took a punch late in the first and early in the second, but rallied to win by 13, and they are the outright ACC regular season champions.
This is a complete basketball team.